kinds of essays. You know, like paragraphs, essays are also of various kinds. They follow the same classification of the paragraphs. That is, they can be narrative, descriptive, enumerative, process, comparison and contrast, cause and effect, argumentative, and expository. Here is a brief review of their functions. So these are different kinds of essays that you might be interested and you might need to write about. So the first one is narrative essays. You know narrative essays?
No.
Something dedicated is this to specific theme. Narrative, it's not wide, it's something very specific. No?
So it looks like a story.
Okay, that's it.
So it's a personal account, as you can see, personal accounts of a story or event in a chronological order. In a chronological order means in the time order, okay? Chronological means based on time. It means it starts from the beginning of the story and it goes through the time, and you will follow the steps that it reaches usually a climax, and then you have the solution or resolution of the story. It is called a narrative, okay? So narratives are usually, narrative essays are usually some personal stories or some personal accounts of what has happened, and you want to share the information with others, okay? So the next one is descriptive essays. You know, descriptive essays describe a person or a place or a situation by giving the precise details of the topic. Okay, so that's descriptive. When you describe, for example, a monument, or when you describe a place, you describe a landscape, you describe someone, okay? That is called a descriptive essay. Clear? Okay. The next type of essay is enumerative or classification essays. In enumerative or classification essays, usually you are counting down different classes or different types or different categories, different kinds, various styles or different fashions of a subject, okay? For example, you are classifying people in three groups. Or when you are classifying different cars, for example, you're talking about some saloons, you're talking about some SUVs, so you're talking about some vans, okay? This is called classification, and you're describing what each class is looks like. The next type of essay is process or procedural essays. In procedural essays or process essays, you're describing the process of doing something or how something occurs, okay? For example, when you want to describe the process of immigration to Canada, so you start from the first step, second step, third step, and move on, okay? That is called a process essay. Or when you're describing the process or procedure of like a water cycle in the nature, how the water is cycled in the nature and forming the clouds and just precipitation and just coming back to earth. That is called process essay, okay? So the next type of essay is comparison and contrast essays. The name gives the meaning. It says that it is for comparison and contrast. Usually you're comparing and contrasting two things or two people, two countries, two situations, and this is called comparison and contrast. And it is usually purposeful. You're doing this contrast and comparison for a specific purpose to find, for example, which one is better or which one is working well, or you want to just support one of them. This is called comparison contrast essay. The next one is cause and effect essays. You know, in cause and effect essays, usually you're focusing either on causes or effects of something. For example, when you're talking about the causes of coronavirus or the causes of memory loss, okay, this is called cause and effect essay. Or sometimes you're just talking about the effects. What are the effects of, for example, air pollution in the environment? Or what are the effects of, you know, unemployment in the society? This is called cause and effect essays. The next type of essay is called argumentative or persuasive essays. In argumentative and persuasive essays, you're trying to argue an issue. You're trying to convince the readers to accept or agree with the writer's opinion. Okay, this is called also persuasive because you're persuading people to agree with you. You're trying to convince others with your own opinion. Okay, it's called argumentative or persuasive essay. The next type of essay is called expository essays. Expository essays are meant to be informative, explaining something to the readers and informing them. Usually the science or scientific text, scientific essays, or also academic essays are usually expository. They're trying to give you more information about the topic. For example, they give you more information about coronavirus. They give you more information about memory loss. That is called expository essays, okay? Most of the scientific journals have got lots of expository texts. Any questions so far? So these are all different kinds of essays: narrative, descriptive, enumerative or classification, process, procedure. Then we have comparison and contrast, cause and effect, argumentative, and expository. Any questions so far? No? Everything is fine?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to read the assignments I just sent you and give you a hint of each one. You have got different essays. It says that read the following 5-paragraph essays and decide what kind of essays they are. How did you find out? What transitions have they applied? Identify the different parts of essays in them, okay? So let's go to the first one. As an example, Tatiana told me that you need to have more examples. That's why we are just reading them together. I start with the 3 Africas. So I'm reading the introduction first. After I read the introduction, you tell me which sentence is a thesis statement, okay? So when many people hear the word Africa, they picture steaming jungles and gorillas. Hollywood films have shrunk the public image of this immense, varied continent into a small segment of its actual diversity. To have a more accurate picture of the whole continent, however, one should remember that there are roughly 3 Africas, each with its distinct climate and terrain, and with a style of life suited to the environment. The continent can be divided into the northern desert areas, the southeastern grasslands, and the tropical jungles to the southwest. So which sentence do you think is a thesis statement?
I think it is
The last one.
Describe.
describe. Yeah, I think it is describe.
Describe.
Which one? Tell me the beginning of the sentence, please.
I think to have a more accurate picture of the whole continent.
Mm-hmm.
However, one should remember there are roughly 3 Africas, each with its distinct climate and terrain, with the cycle,
With a style of.
style of the lives, style of the suited to the environment.
That's right. So this is the thesis statement. That's what the author is trying to tell us, that Africa has got 3 different aspects, 2 different sides, and each with its distinct climate and terrain. Terrain means land, and with a style of life suited to the environment. This is the, the thesis statement. And what is your blueprint?
Blueprint in this?
The continent can be divided.
Yeah, the last statement.
Yes.
The last sentence
Yes.
is the blueprint. Okay.
Why?
So
I
when
don't
you,
understand why is this blueprint. I don't understand.
okay, I'm telling you, I'm explaining. From the blueprint, you will find out that in the next paragraphs, you're going to read about the first topic. This is the first topic that we're going to read.
It's like plan.
Yeah, it's like a map, as I
Then
said.
what you do right next.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It tells the reader what kind of information is going to appear in the next paragraphs.
Okay.
Okay. Especially about the body paragraph. So these are the 3 topics you can see: the northern desert areas, the southeastern grasslands, and the tropical jungles to the southwest.
And all this part, it's introduction, yes?
All this part, the whole paragraph, is an introduction. This is your motivator. This is your...
It's motivator?
Yes. The first is motivator. When many people hear the word Africa, they picture steaming jungles and gorillas. Okay, so when you think of Africa, usually you remember jungles and gorillas, maybe elephants, that kind of thing. But the author or the writer is just telling us that this is just the part of Africa. It is not all parts of Africa. Because in the northern part, as you can see, it is northern desert areas. So it's all desert in north. Southeastern, it is only grasslands. And the tropical one is the one that you have seen usually in the movies, especially Hollywood movies. They're focusing on the southwest part. So this is what kind of motivator is he using?
How people imagine what is Africa? What is Africa's?
Yeah, so it's talking about something general that people and public believe in. That's how they feel about Africa, okay? But he's telling you that this is not just Africa. Africa, there are 3 parts of Africa, and he's just discussing these 3 parts in this essay, okay? So what kind of essay is it?
It's descriptive, I think. It's descriptive.
Is it descriptive?
Yes, I think, because it's about...
Let me go back to the different...
Also, it can be classification.
Yeah.
Because
like
we discuss 3 part of Africa.
Very good. Yeah, we are classifying Africa into 3 groups. So that's a kind of enumerative or classification essay. Okay, so
but we can say that this essay